Over the last few months, it is clear that Fortnite is really just trying to be like a bunch of different games at the same time. For example, you have direct things like their partnerships with Rocket League and Lego, but more indirectly you have the recent addition Reloaded, which is just like Rebirth inside of Warzone. And today we'll be talking about how and why Fortnite is trying to be like a bunch of different games, so let's get right into it. To see how they're doing it, let's take a look at all the games they have copied and what their impacts were on Fortnite. The first real big kind of instance of Fortnite copying another game will be with creative mode, and I suppose more so creative 2.0, as that allowed people to essentially just recreate different games inside of Fortnite. I mean, you have people recreating Bed Wars and Gun Game, which are obviously parts of massive games out there, plus you also have like Prop Hunt, which is coming from another game. And I mean, I could really just go on and on with all the different games inside of creative, but that would take too much time and isn't exactly what all this is about. Instead, the reason why this is so significant is because creative mode as a whole is essentially copying Roblox, which is among the biggest games in the world. And I mean, the resemblance is very strong. Both of them rely on the players to go and create games and for them to play each other's games, and this leads to both people creating unique games as well as just adapting pre-existing games. So Roblox is one massive game that Fortnite has deliberately copied, and obviously they would have expected players to recreate other games inside of creative mode. But the next game they're copying is more so like a genre, and that is music games like Guitar Hero or the music tile games, and this is occurring inside of Fortnite Festival. I mean, this is quite clearly a blatant copy since you essentially have a phone looking thing and it looks like all those mobile games out there where you just have to line up the correct notes and play the song. And recently they also did just add Metallica to the game, which is a pretty big collaboration. It shows how serious they are with this whole mode. But the next game they're copying is all the racing games, and that comes with the Rocket League partnership and the Rocket Racing game mode. Even though the cars and assets are from Rocket League, the actual gameplay itself is not. The gameplay is basically you just racing in a circuit, and you could say it is copying every racing game such as Forza or Need for Speed. And this obviously is very different from Battle Royale or just any sort of PvP in general, which is what Fortnite was supposed to be. But next up, we have the Lego mode inside of the game, and this copies three main games, which are Lego, Minecraft, and even Scrap Mechanic. Now, this is like the closest partnership that I've had with a game that actually kind of replicates the game, as everything is obviously very much like the Lego games, but the whole building factor and stuff also really does remind you of Minecraft, and the thing with people building cool machines and vehicles in the game really just reminded me of Scrap Mechanic, as that was a game I really loved playing growing up. And this would introduce a really big PvE aspect of the game that is completely separate from Fortnite Save the World, and honestly Fortnite may just be trying to replace Save the World and just incorporate it into Battle Royale, since it did have the Horde Rush thing, which was just very similar to Save the World. But anyways, the next game they're copying is Call of Duty, and they're doing this in two ways. First of all, you have all the weapon attachments and stuff that were added in Chapter 5, and you could say that this also copies other games with gun attachments, but COD is quite clearly the biggest and also the most similar to Fortnite. And this honestly just made the game feel really weird, since it kind of overcomplicated the game and made everything less reliable, as different people could have different attachments and stuff. But anyways, the second way they're copying Call of Duty is with the reload mode, which is basically just a copy of Rebirth from Warzone. I mean, in both of these, you come from the sky onto a small island with a bunch of densely packed places, and you can respawn as long as there is at least one person alive in your squad, and towards the end, rebooting just ends and the goal is to obviously try and win. And if I'm being honest, I'm surprised that they didn't copy this earlier, since it is a really cool and fun mode. But I mean, those are all really like the big major games that Fortnite is copying. So now we really need to see just why they are even doing this. I mean, it almost seems like Battle Royale got put on the back burners and Fortnite is more so focused on all of these new things, since the majority of them came out within the last year or so. I have previously talked about how creative mode is really saving Fortnite because it brings in a lot more stuff for people to do and brings in so much more variety to the game, and that means there is always really something for people to do if they don't want to play Battle Royale. And honestly, that is a big reason as to why Roblox has been so popular, because there are tons of new and exciting games popping up as well as just older games that managed to stick around and stay popular. So I guess that is probably why Fortnite decided to try and copy Roblox in that regard, since I mean, why not copy something that is clearly working for others? And I'm sure that's probably what would inspire them to start going after other super popular games. But another reason as to why Fortnite is copying other games is simply because they kind of need to in order to survive. I mean, if you look at the numbers, then about half of the player base is playing something other than Battle Royale most of the time. Back when Fortnite was blowing up, Battle Royale was a fairly new concept and something that was really only just starting to emerge. And with the graphics that would appeal towards kids as well as adults, combined with the whole building aspect, Fortnite would absolutely blow up with Battle Royale, and that would cause so many games, including Call of Duty, to introduce Battle Royale games. So back then, with Battle Royale being such a new and exciting thing, that's all that people were really playing. However, over time, due to a bunch of different reasons, the hype for Battle Royale would die down and people would either just start playing Fortnite less or quit entirely, whether the reason was that they didn't want to play Battle Royale games anymore, or if they just decided to switch to another game like Warzone, which was becoming increasingly popular, especially during lockdown. But we saw with creative how people who maybe weren't the biggest fans of Battle Royale would still play the game because there was now more to it than just the Battle Royale. And so copying other games would help, as Fortnite would be trying to get some of their player base over to playing Fortnite, and that would hopefully lead to them playing Battle Royale along with whatever they came for. I mean, the biggest example of this is probably Lego Fortnite, since that is a massive community and the Lego games are also really popular. So with that basically being added to Fortnite, that brought over a ton of brand new players and also just brought back a ton of older players. I mean, at the peak, there were over 2 million people playing Lego Fortnite, which was just insane, and it was a number that Battle Royale rarely ever gets. The only time it would have been around that would be when Fortnite was initially blowing up and when we had the OG Fortnite season. So overall, Fortnite has really just been copying more and more games recently, including many of the top games in the world. And the whole reason for all of this copying is because Battle Royale as a genre isn't as popular as it once used to be, so adding in more variety and more things for people to do in the game was really important to both retain older players as well as bringing in newer players, which will hopefully make more people play Battle Royale. And all the collabs that Fortnite has been doing is really their way of trying to attract more people to the game. And this is honestly working, as things like Lego Fortnite and the new reload mode are both really fun to play and definitely add more to Fortnite and bring in a bunch of new people. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.